Are you always busy but never productive? Let me show you the secret of taking control of your day and getting more done. In my most watched YouTube video, I talked about focus, and I showed you 4 actions that I'm taking to improve my own productivity. Today I'm going to take this video one step further and narrow the focus down to simplicity and how I use calendar to schedule all my daily activities. Welcome back. Your calendar always reflects your priorities. If it's not scheduled, it's not important. So what does my calendar look like? Let's dive right in. I usually wake up anywhere between 6 and 7 in the morning. And the key to me here is that I don't want to set the alarm. Why? Because when I don't have an alarm, I usually wake up more rested, in a better mood, and my whole morning is way more relaxed that way. Most of the times, the problems that we face in the morning can be solved last night, meaning yesterday. In this case, if we all went to bed a little earlier, we would have easier time waking up earlier the following morning as well. So this is the mantra or principle I try to follow in my personal life as well. Go to bed early and you won't have any of those issues the following morning. You will wake up rested and you don't even need that alarm clock. Try it out. So what do I do in the morning? Nowadays everybody is talking about those morning routines. Whether you're supposed to take a cold plunge, at least a cold shower, meditate, stretch, do all kinds of tricks, bells and whistles in order to get started, get that engine going in the morning. To me, my goal is really simple. How can I go from waking up to work as quickly as possible? It's very simple. I try to maximize my good habits and eliminate all the distractions from my life. To me, what that usually means in practice is that anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes after I've woken up, I can pick up my laptop and start to work. So what do I do during that first half an hour? Use the bathroom, get dressed, get my morning drink, which is my vitamins, my greens, and my protein, get some caffeine in my system, and I'm pretty much good to go. And this allows me, like I said, within 30 minutes, I'm up and running. And this is my first working session. I'm at home, usually either by my desk or still in my bed, working. What do? I check my emails, I check how my videos are performing, look at the metrics. If I have any ad campaigns, I would check the performance of those and plan my day. Sometimes I even post videos that I have edited the previous night. But it's my first really productive 60 to 90 minute session in the morning. And then what do I do after that? So roughly anywhere between 8 and 10 in the morning, I have my training session. Most of the mornings I go to the gym, and nowadays I just moved. I sold my house. I got this condo, which is really close to the gym that I go to. So I have the benefit of being able to get some fresh air so I can walk to the gym in the morning. So killing 2 birds with 1 stone, get some fresh air, a little bit of cardio, and then get my training session in. So I walk to the gym, it's close to my home, and it all supports my long-term goal, which goes hand in hand with my breakfast, which I have when I come from the gym. And what's my long-term goal? My big why is to live forever. I do everything in my power to maximize longevity, whether it's nutrition, training, sleeping habits, everything that's possible within my control, so to say. I try to optimize. Of course, living forever is not possible, but that's my ultimate goal. Why? Because I like life. I love hanging out with my kids, going through experiences, ups and downs in life. So that's why what I do right now is what I truly enjoy. I don't want to go skiing. I don't want to go golfing. I just want to basically center my life around 3 activities: business, my family, and my training. That's all I do. Everything else I pretty much say no to. Okay, so that was my breakfast time. What do I have for breakfast? I have had the same exact breakfast for now roughly 5 years, believe it or not. I just had an interesting conversation with a friend of mine the previous day about that. And this person was asking me to send a picture of my breakfast, which I did. And then that person knows me pretty well. So then we had this pretty interesting conversation about how long I have had the same exact meal. And then I was explaining what my goals are. And believe me, if having a lot of variety, eating pancakes today, maybe chocolate cereal tomorrow, then the day after that oatmeal and then eggs or whatever the combination is, would take me closer to my goal of maximizing longevity, I would do that. This might sound boring to some and maybe even humorous to other people, but I actually look forward to having that same breakfast every morning. I like it. I have the macros correct, it tastes good, and it's easy to fix, and I've been able to standardize my morning. Like I said, my why is big enough, in my opinion, in my life. And my big why, as far as why I keep training the way I do, why I eat the way I do, is because I want to maximize that longevity. So how do I make sure that I can stay on this planet, see my kids grow, and experience these cool things about building a business, or maybe even recording these videos with you guys as much as possible? That's my whole objective there. Something about motivation real quick. So to me, Tony Robbins actually talked about push versus pull. And I've used the term deep insecurity and curiosity, which to me is pretty much the same thing. So if you're always in the push mode, you have a chip on your shoulder and you want to prove everybody wrong, and you have this constant energy, nothing is enough. Oftentimes you have a hard time celebrating those small wins, which has been my case in the past. And then when we get older, we are more experienced, we witness life and we see ups and downs, we lose enough, and then we are humble and more grateful about life overall. Then we get to appreciate that actually it's that passion, it's that love for the game, meaning the pull part of the motivation or why, that actually makes the biggest difference in the end. And I have said this many times, but I believe I have a pretty good balance nowadays between push and pull. So that deep insecurity that got me started when it comes to training and business is now being replaced, at least somewhat, maybe it's a 50-50 balance, by that curiosity or the pull, that love for the game, that passion for the craft. So that's how I look at it. But we all need to find out why. If longevity or whatever health or whatever your driver or goal is in life is big enough, you'll find a way. What about then after that, my second work session? And as far as work goes, I have divided these tasks or my work sessions into two different categories. I call them reactive and proactive. Reactive is the same as that so-called trivial standard task, the so-called manager type of task, the day-to-day of running a business. Very important still, but it's a very different type of a task than the creative task or the proactive task, which in my case here, the 11 to 1 p.m. time slot is dedicated towards reactive work, manager type of duties and tasks. So I answer emails, make phone calls, pay bills, and all of that miscellaneous type of stuff. But then my most productive time slot is reserved for the 1 to 5 p.m., the so-called afternoon session. And this is when I try to silence all my notifications, close the doors, sit quietly, either plan my videos, record or edit them, but make sure that I can get the ball rolling in giant leaps. So this particular session right now, where I'm standing in front of this camera and recording this session, is one of these proactive or creative time slots where I really try to get some creative work done. And since I need to promote and market my startup as much as possible, therefore I need to put a lot of time and effort into making this content so that I can add value in your life. Okay, so 1 to 5 p.m. is my third session, and then sometime in the evening I put 8 to 10 p.m. Usually it's at least an hour and a half or 2 hour session where I do miscellaneous work. Most of the time I either edit some shorter videos or create shorts out of these longer YouTube videos, or then I just post them, or again answer emails or do some kind of work that makes me ready for tomorrow or for the next day. So this was my weekly, or actually daily calendar that is pretty much the same every day of the week, with the exception of weekends when I don't have any client meetings. And speaking of client meetings, then I would usually have the client meetings also in the afternoon when I have my most productive time of the day. But I didn't mark them here because this is heavily geared towards this creative work and about the videos that I'm posting. This is how I prioritize my work, by scheduling it, by making sure that I have those time slots that give me the maximum level of productivity on a daily basis. Every decision in life has a price. Wisdom is understanding the long-term consequences of your own actions. So if I prioritize business, family, and training, obviously I have to say no to a lot of things, right? So what is that list like? Let's go through it. So I need to say no to a bunch of things in order to say yes to the most important ones. And I have been very open and vocal about this in the past, where I've stated that one of the biggest or hardest things for me personally has been to say no to new opportunities, new things so that I can really prioritize the things that matter the most. Because I used to think that everything good is on the other side of yes, until I understood that no, it's the other way around. I need to learn how to say no so that I can say yes to the other stuff that really matters. So I have really clear priorities. Social life. Okay, so if it doesn't support any of the three, I'm going to say no to it. Obviously, alcohol and partying. If I have a training session in the morning, I can go out for a little bit, but I come home early so that I'm rested and I can train in the morning. Or if I plan on working the next day, there's no way I can stay up until 4 a.m. in the morning. The hardest part of this is the business opportunities. And the better you get at your craft, the more successful you are, the more opportunities get presented to you. And this is what we are truly tested. That shiny object syndrome is real. In the beginning, people just, when we don't know better, we think that that lonely dark road or that drive on the freeway when we have no street lights, there's no road signs, nobody's telling us that you're doing a great job going in the right direction, nobody's patting you on the back. When that's missing, we don't know any better. So then we are tempted to take the first exit to the right, where the bright lights are, so to say. That's the shiny object syndrome. When you get better in business and in life, new, bigger opportunities get presented to you all the time. Like in this case, I'm willing to lose money elsewhere in order to make no money here so that I can make potentially money down the road and get really good at this. Maybe reach that top 1% status. But in order for me to get there, I need to really get super good at saying no to everything else and just make sure that I believe in my cause and I trust my instincts, my intuition, my skill set to take me there. That's really hard. Outsource and ignore. I mentioned I sold my house, I moved to a condo, which partly is because I obviously don't need that much space anymore, my kids are growing. But also a big reason for that is that I no longer want to be a handyman and a guy taking care of all of that maintenance work. Of course, yeah, I could outsource that, which is something I do more and more nowadays, and I'm actually very good at that. But nowadays, I look at all the problems around me and I ask myself, what's the price tag? Do I ignore that or do I outsource that? And I only focus on the things that really take me forward. Is it going to make me better down the road? Is it something that I truly enjoy? If not, I'm going to have somebody else take care of it. And now that I don't have that bigger single family home anymore, I have a condo which is more maintenance free. I can travel more and I can focus on my work and my kids and on my training more since I don't have that extra headache. Sometimes we have to pay the world whatever it takes to leave us alone so that we have time to think and get clarity, that inner peace. I'm all for that. That's such a valuable thing to know and master. Anyhow, this is what I have to say no to in order to get really good at something else. Does everybody agree with me? Are my principles right for everybody? Of course not. Since I wanted to tackle that other side of the coin as well in this presentation or in this video, let's take a look at some of those common objections that I hear when I talk to people about my way of living or my principles. Number one, creativity. What if I'm a creative person, an artist? Scheduling everything is never going to work. Might be a counter argument. And I would say that if you schedule time to be your most productive version of yourself, to brainstorm, think about new ideas, I think ultimately you give yourself that freedom to be a creative person, to innovate. Jerry Seinfeld, the famous comedian, actor, had this rule when he had to come up with new material for his jokes or for his shows, that when he booked that time to make content, to create new material, he only had one rule, which was that he was not allowed to do anything else, but he didn't have to do what was on his schedule. So he could sit there and just do nothing, but he was not allowed to do anything else. So if you teach yourself that there's a schedule, there's a rhythm, there are principles for your creative work as well, I think that's how you put yourself in a position to succeed, no matter what you do in life, whether it's more mundane, more like creative work, or more reactive work like answering emails that manage a type of a task. I think both roles, manager and a creator, benefit from scheduling things. That's how I look at it. Easy for you to say. It's something that I hear a lot. Well, you are very disciplined. You have a lot of focus. No, trust me, I wasn't that way. I was always disciplined, which was something that I covered in my first focus video, but I had no focus, trust me. So I've come a long way. First, being self-aware, understanding what my strengths and weaknesses are, and then making corrections. correcting the mistakes, so to say, and saying no, learning how to say no to the stuff that I wasn't very good at. So people have no idea what I have gone through, which is fine. I mean, I don't expect anything else. But I think everybody who's good at something, usually it's a combination of some talent plus a lot of hard work. And I don't think I'm no different. If I'm no good at focusing on things, it doesn't mean that I was always that way in the past. Number 3, what about innovation? If you're always about scheduling stuff and about your principles, kind of goes in hand with creativity. To me, innovation in life is about a couple of things. Number 1, and the most important thing, is that innovative people are very good at recognizing patterns. And then the second step is that you have to use those patterns. And the third step is you just keep repeating those winning actions. And innovation is about, like I said, how do I recognize what's going on in the world? Everything goes in cycles, whether it's history, whether it's money stuff or businesses or whatever. These trends go up and down. They come and they go. So if we understand patterns and if we schedule time to think, reflect, we have that quiet time, we have maximum inner peace with ourselves. We have time to reflect, and then we are very good at recognizing patterns, and then we can innovate when we can use those patterns that we just recognize as step number 1. That's how I look at it. Relax, live a little is probably the most common out of these 4. People think that I don't know how to relax, that I don't live my life if I stick to my core principles, if I focus on certain topics and say no to a lot of other things, or if I eat the same breakfast every morning, that somehow I'm punishing myself, that I would enjoy it. No, I get to do what I enjoy. And work-life balance is another one that comes up a lot. So people think that if I work a lot, if I work 7 days a week, I don't have any work-life balance. But like I said in the beginning or earlier in this video, I don't want to go skiing. I don't want to go golfing. I want to do my things. This is what I want to do. I enjoy that. And to me, the bigger problem in the society is those people who are in a 9-to-5 job that they hate. So 40 hours every week, they hate what they do. They live for the weekends or for that summer vacation or for that occasional holiday. I think those people have a bigger work-life balance issue than me. But again, to each his own, to each her own, that's okay. But I think as long as we get to do whatever we enjoy, there's no way I can go and tell anybody else what to do if that person truly enjoys his or her craft. That's how I look at it. So why does focus matter so much then? It's because progress comes from action, not perfection. And when we schedule activities, it forces us to take action. That's why having that calendar is so very important. Like I said in the beginning, if it's not scheduled, it's not a priority. It's not important. If it's nowhere to be found, you won't repeat those actions. Many of us, we fear failure. Based on my theory, my understanding, that's the number 1 reason why people don't take action. They claim to be perfectionists, which is actually fine, by the way, if that leads to action taking. But oftentimes, that's an excuse for people not to do anything because we are always waiting for that next data dump or information package or this vital piece of info that's still missing. But guess what? We'll always be waiting for that final missing piece of info. But the reason why we want to tie scheduling your tasks and having them on your calendar directly to progress is because, like I said, having it on your calendar, scheduling it, forces you to take action. And we forget the perfection, the end results, because we just need to get started and trust that along the way, we are going to figure it out, which is always the case. What about me personally? How do I know that my system is going to work in my case? Even if it didn't work for you, what about myself? Well, actually, I don't know. But what I do know is that the same principle, the same methods and actions have worked in the past when I have been able to focus on my business activities 100%. So that's all I have. I just need to trust that the same process is going to yield those same results or even better results going forward because now I'm even more focused on my goal and what I want to get done in life. That's how I know. And I'm actually very good at traveling on that dark freeway or highway without any street lights, without any road signs about which direction I'm going or what my distance is to my final destination. I can just keep going. And I think those distractions are the biggest obstacle for us, the roadblock between now and that final destination. And if you really want to get good at this, then you understand that there is no final destination. It's just a journey that continues, keeps on going. like that training journey in my case. I just hit the gym no matter what, or keep eating the same foods every morning or every afternoon whenever I have my mealtime. So that's when we are onto something. As a summary, in the end, I used to think that being disciplined and focused was boring and was holding me back somehow. But that's not the case. It's actually the ultimate key to my freedom. What's the one thing that you wish you had more time for? I have a challenge for you. Block and schedule 1 week based on today's advice and let us know. Share your comments and your feedback. I would be interested in hearing what works for you. Thanks for watching. I don't take your time for granted. I know it's your most valuable resource, and I highly appreciate all the focus and time you are dedicating to me and these videos. I'll talk to you again next time. Thank you. Bye.